Good morning, everybody. How are you doing today? I'm excited about today's show. My name is Leadership with Laura. My name is Laura Armstrong. My company is Leadership with Laura. And today I wanted to talk about something that we don't always talk about, which I think is a very important subject. And that is, what do you feel is no longer contributing to your business? And we're going to touch on several levels of that today. So the first we're going to talk about is how to let go of the past, right? And obviously, this touches on not just your business level, but your personal level as well. Because what happens in your personal level affects your business level and your leadership, right? So if you're growing as a human being, it's going to affect you personally. It's also going to affect you professionally because you're going to be open to so much more and be able to scale things up. Well, the same, as we do that, it works in the other way as well. What we can't move forward with everything; it's just too much. So we got to let go of the things that aren't serving us, right? So many of us get stuck because of our need for certainty. Um, and basically, it's fundamentally about survival, right? We need to feel that we can avoid pain and ideally find comfort in our lives. And letting go of the past means stepping into the unknown. And I when I work with my clients, a lot of that is what holds them back, right? It's like I'm not sure what's going to happen, right? And it means having the courage to let go what is familiar, and even if it's negative, right? And being vulnerable enough to embrace and learn from what's ahead. Because if you're in a state of uncomfortableness, and I am right now, I try to be in that state as often as possible. It means that change is happening. Okay. The other reason it's so difficult to learn to let go of the past has to do with the way that we link emotion to information, right? So consider, for example, a woman who has uh, a relationship, right? And if her partner does something that causes her emotional pain, she may tend to bring it up over and over again throughout the relationship. And the partner will feel like, I've done this to my husband unconsciously, actually, will feel like it's impossible to get past it because you feel like they're always punishing you for your transgressions, right? So there's a real reason why you can't let go. It's like, few people can remember what was happening a month ago, because we don't we don't retain information like that, but we retain emotions, right? So if you attach emotion to anything that impacts you in a significant way that causes you pain and suffering, it makes letting go of things a little bit harder, right? So what you want to do is understand that when these horrible things happen or something bad happens, it's just an experience. It's an experience, and I've had so many bad things happen to me. But I don't talk about that. I don't hang on that. I don't spend time with that. I take what I learned from that and those experiences and I move forward, and I use it for fuel as examples for my teaching and myself, right? So if we're not moving forward, we're not experiencing life. We're experiencing our mind, and that's not what you want to do, right? So I wanted to give you a few tips of letting go. So turning letting go of the past into a must, right? So this is something you have to do. The first steps are to acknowledge what's holding you back and think about why you must move on. Okay. What exactly are you holding on to? And you know what? A lot of the time when I talk to people like this, they've forgotten. Not that they've forgotten, but it's just something that they felt they needed to hold on to because it's been there, right? So really, you need to think about how much importance am I attaching to this? And it's, time has passed. So do I still need to attach that level of importance to it? Do I still need to hold on to it as tightly as I have been? So, what are and the other question you can ask yourself are, what are the reasons that you must absolutely move beyond this? How will it change the trajectory, not only of your relationships, but of your business, right? This is one of the most important parts of the process because it will help you stay committed to letting go of the things that aren't serving you, right? And gaining, and the other thing I want to say to you here too is go back to your why and make sure that that still connects up now that you've let go. Because maybe that was a part of your why, and maybe that's not serving you anymore. So now your why has to shift, right? And that's going to ripple out into your business. People are going to see the change. You've let go of something, something's shifting. right? And stepping into it. So the second one is identifying your emotional habits, right? Identifying your emotional habits is one of the most challenging parts of letting go because it requires deep introspection. You have to look at yourself. You have to evaluate the things that, how you live your life. What are your limiting beliefs? Where do you live emotionally? When you grow accustomed to certain emotions, even negative ones, you don't notice how they affect you on a daily basis. So it's also positive emotions. So anywhere that you've got that emotional connection, it will stick you, right? And a lot of people don't talk about this because we want to think the good emotions are the only ones that we should be having. Well, they can stick you just as much as a negative one. In fact, they probably stick you more because they feel good, right? So if you got $1 million success, that feels really good, but what's next? And I'll give you an example. When I won my first world championship, I had worked towards it for almost 10 years. And finally when I won and I had it in my hand, and yeah, I reveled in it and I enjoyed that moment, but what was after that moment? Because I'd been stuck in that achievement for so long that I wasn't sure what was after that, right? So I really had to kind of look inside and evaluate what I wanted to do. And my life took a different focus at the time because my needs were then different, right? So identifying your emotional habits will actually start to shift towards a more positive experience. Your emotions are like a muscle. You can train yourself to feel frustrated, sad, stressed, depressed, even after a challenging situation um, arises, or you can train yourself to feel passionate and joyful, strong, empowered, even when something bad happens, right? When you take charge of your emotions, you can learn to let go of the past, so that you feel lighter and freer, to embrace the uncomfortable and step into your power, right? It's just really all about the choice. So when you catch yourself falling into that negative pattern or habit, cut it off right away and switch gears, because right away it's going to be like, no, that hasn't got any more power on me anymore. The more you condition yourself to this, the more wired those emotions become, and the more you adapt to any situation thrown your way, right? I've been teaching for a long time, like over 30 years. And, one of the things that I pride myself on is to stay calm in stressful situations, which is a hard thing to do sometimes because sometimes it affects me personally. And also be willing to deal with the situation and resolve it as quickly as possible. Look for the solution and not play the blame game, right? The next one I want to talk about is conditioning your mind, right? And this kind of is connected to the one I talked about before. So, ultimate breakthroughs happen in life by learning strategies, in your business, in your life, developing an empowering story. Your story is what people buy, right? It's your story they want to hear. Okay. And that means your story is you've lived the experience. And you want to ensure that you're in the right state to move forward. To do this, you must condition your mind every single day. How does it get better than this? How can I be more powerful than yesterday? Affirmations, visualization, meditation, all of those things can contribute to conditioning your mind. If you don't take the time to examine and change your habits, life starts to happen to you instead of for you. Okay, let me say that again. If you don't take the time to examine and change your habits, life starts happening to you instead of for you. No matter how smart or savvy you are, how inspired, if you don't stand, if you don't stand guard at your mind, um, you're gonna, it can be disempowering, right? You have to be on it all the time because we are so vulnerable that way. We take in those negative thoughts. We're taught at a very young age that those thoughts are normal, and they're not. It's not a natural state. Our natural state as human beings on this earth is in a state of joy. But when we are in a state of joy, inevitably someone's like, what's wrong with you? Are you on drugs or something? Because it's not a normal state that we've been taught to embrace, but that is shifting. So there's good news, right? And you can shift it yourself, right? So you'll find yourself distracted, and keeping yourself rooted in negative patterns unless you take the time to change that, right? And we don't want that. Tell yourself empowering stories instead of limiting ones. Push against those who don't believe you because it doesn't really matter what they think, anyways. Okay. Feed your mind new knowledge and positivity. Always be learning. Surround yourself with the people who make you better and put you in a peak state. Work on cultivating a thriving garden instead of a dry patch of weeds, because who wants a dry patch of weeds, right? And the next I want to go to is create empowering rituals, which is kind of, it's all connected here. So letting go of the past isn't easy. Empowering rituals in your business and in your life can cultivate that thriving garden. So you'll notice that the world's most successful people establish daily success routines, things like healthy breakfast, meditation, exercise, learning new things. It's the small things that you do every day that will lead to momentum and massive change. I'm telling you, it's the truth. Practicing gratitude is another habit that can help you live in the moment instead of in the past. And, a gratitude journal is great as well. Think about all you have to be grateful for in your current life. It doesn't take long. I can think of a million things, right? Realize that everything that happened to you in the past, and I've had this epiphany several times, is what has made you the person you are now. How are you going to use that as fuel to move into the future, right? When you love yourself, life gets so much easier and you can let go of the past for good. And next, I want to talk about is how to shift your focus. Because now that we've gotten rid of what doesn't serve us, where are we going, right? So, so much pain in life is caused by thinking that you can control the way other people feel and act, which is actually a lie. It's not true. We think our circumstances are the result of some mysterious force when actually they're the results of our own decisions. We chose it, believe it or not. And the sooner you accept responsibility for your actions, the sooner you can let go of the stuff that's not serving you. We have the ability to turn negative into positive, setbacks into opportunities, failures into lessons. You have it within you, right? All you need to do is accept that the only thing we control in life is our own actions and decisions, and shift your focus away from other people and events outside of your control. I see it so many times. People take on other people's stuff. They're like, well, they said this and that, or they're doing this and that. Well, it doesn't matter. That's why it's become so easy for me to accept judgment from others, because really it's just their point of view, right? You can't take back an unhealthy relationship, but you can learn from it. So, and you can't go back in time and fix a bad childhood. And believe me, I had a bad childhood. But you can realize that your past doesn't equal your future. Every day is a chance to start over. Every day you wake up is a fresh start, right? And that's just for you, your business, and your leadership. From the minute you wake up, you can make a choice. Learning how to let go of the past means you're breaking up with yourself. You're breaking the pattern and focusing on creating the life not only that you want, but that you deserve, and not dwelling on the one that you used to have. Next, I want to talk about teaching yourself to be present. You must also shift your focus to be mindful of the present. Remember, the present is the only time that matters. You can plan for the future and you can use the tools from what you've learned in the past, but really the present is the only time that matters. The future only exists for what you're creating, the possibility of what could be, right? The only thing that's real is happening right now. And that's why there's nothing more powerful than the human soul rooted in the present moment, from the past to the future, right? When you're in the now, anything is possible. And you having awareness about that and living more consciously in every single moment in your business, in your life, and in your leadership. You can teach yourself to be present. And there's meditation, there's affirmations, like I said, there's all sorts of things that you can do. And if you want more joy and more happiness and more fulfillment, engagement in life, with other human beings is really where it is. We're also attached to our phone screens and our technology. Try to have some space around that. That can take you out of the reality of the present moment, right? Bring your attention into the moment right now and take stock of what is beautiful in your life. And the biggest key, how to forget the past, is to stop living there. Okay. And, let's talk about personal growth. So there's no better time to work on a personal growth plan than when you want to learn how to move from the past. This is where a lot of change and transformation can happen for you And as I said, that's reflected in your business. You're going to see it, right? How can you not, right? You're shifting, so everything in your life shifts with you. Focus on learning and improving. Um, and this isn't it's this can be so empowering for you, right? Take this time to figure out what that means to you, personal growth. Do you want to develop your career, your leadership? Do you want to create a healthy relationship, which is what you deserve? Once you've identified the areas that you want to work on, pinpoint the obstacles that you may face and assemble the tools you need to succeed. I think that this is where a lot of people get stuck, right? They're like, oh, there's an issue there. I don't know what to do, right? So if you actually say, hey, this is where the problem's happening, what do I need to get rid of that? Before it even can take hold with you emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually, you can actually clear that roadblock without it becoming a roadblock, right? So this is something that's so key to your growth. And next, I would say surround yourself with positive people. You are the sum of the 5 people that you hang out with the most. So who are you hanging out with? What separates those who achieve their goals from those who don't isn't time or skills. It's how to use the law of attraction to get what they want. They know what you focus on and you feel. The energy that you put out in the world is what you get back. Those who you surround yourself are who you become. Okay, and I just said that. Letting go of the past is so much more difficult if you are around people who constantly remind you about it. How many of us have fallen into this trap, right? When you put the theory of peer elevation to work in your life and surround yourself with positive people and positive people who are up a level from you. That's the key there, right? Hang out with people who are above you, right? You'll find it much easier to move on, and you're going to start to grow past them at some point, right? As Tony says, the quality of a person's life is most often a direct reflection of the expectations of their peer group. Lastly, give back. As you strive to understand and let go of the past, find something you want to serve that is greater than yourself. Honestly, live for your family, live for your community, and for humanity. Your motive doesn't matter. So find motives that go beyond yourself. To me, there's nothing more rewarding than when I see my students skyrocket past me. They get it. They've moved into the next level. And I'm just sitting there with a big smile on my face saying, good for you, right? That's exactly what I wanted for you. They had the courage to step into it, be afraid, be uncomfortable, and embrace what was going on, right? Your life matters. So align yourself with the truth that you're here not just to get, but to give. Okay. And having that balance of receiving and giving is so important, because if you're not balanced, you can't move. If you're giving all the time, this is sitting down here and you're moving nowhere. If you're receiving all the time and your giving isn't happening, you're also sitting there not moving anywhere. And I've seen both types of people. It's when we learn to balance both of them out that things start to move. So keep that in mind. Make sure that your vision is much bigger than you and your mission, right? You'll feel the benefits immediately and you'll become grounded in the moment, in the present. And you'll become more productive and find creative solutions to your problems. And you'll see your business step into the next level of success. Now, the second thing I wanted to talk about today, when we're talking about what to get rid of in your business, I think really important, it's important to talk about when you should say no in business. And I find that this can really paralyze your business if you don't know how to do it properly. Um, you know, saying no in business can really not only set boundaries, but also might not make people the happiest, right? When you say no to them. So if you have to say no, saying no doesn't always. So the first thing we're going to talk about here, sorry, let me backtrack a bit, is when to say no in business. So you can automate your tasks, right? So saying no doesn't have to mean not doing something. Sometimes it means doing something more efficiently. So automation lets you streamline a lot of tasks that otherwise you'd have to do on your own. For instance, when I was creating my courses, I put them through my funnels because that just saved me hours and hours and hours of time. Creating emails, creating videos, creating, how to get the next thing out there and sending it to 500 people. Like, I just don't have that kind of time. So automating can actually get you to say the no to spending all that time doing it and take over that manual work, right? So I think that there's a lot of value in that for you. The second no I talk about was when the scope of work gets too big. For instance, I just leveled up my business and I had to start bringing in more processes, more people, and more systems so that I could level up. So it's important to show value as quickly as possible. Your scope creep kills your speed. And unfortunately, it's all too common for projects to balloon and become too much to handle. You've got to be able to delegate and give that out. So, you can always improve once it exists, but you won't necessarily know if you're improving it on the right things until you get feedback from people, right? So it's really important when you level up or you scale your business to the next level that you're keeping an eye on what's going on and that you've got the right people and the systems and processes in place to do that. The next is no business value. So at the end of the day, you need revenue. And to create revenue, you need to focus on the value that you give within your business. So choosing what to work on is a prioritization challenge because there are so many different aspects of your business, right? You need to decide based on things like, first of all, the reach, the number of people that it will affect. Let me see. Your revenue, the business that you have coming in, and also, are you scaling properly, right? And these things are so important. We don't talk about them a lot. The fourth thing I want to talk about, because I'm getting close on my time here, is how to say no to customers or clients. So first of all, I want to say, stand your ground, especially in public. If a customer asks you to create a new product, what do you say? Best case scenario, you're clear and direct about your plans. You stay firm to your vision. Make sure it's in alignment with what you're doing, and express the no confidently and respectfully. And it's easy to waver and act unsure. By not being firm, you're actually losing control and credibility. Or worse, if it's on a public forum like social media, people might see your indecision as a lack of confidence and vision, and you do not want that, right? You need to stay strong and confident when saying no. People can sense weakness, and unfortunately, they may exploit it if you don't stand your ground. And the second thing I would say here is back up your no with hard evidence. Sometimes the easiest way to say no is backing up your decision with cold, hard facts. If you own a digital marketing agency, for instance, and your client asks you to rebrand one of their existing product offerings, it's in your best interest to take a step back and gather the information and make sure that they understand the implications of the rebrand. No one likes hearing no, but if you come with supportive facts, people are much more likely to understand your decision. And next, I would say, show people the situation from your perspective. Your customers don't always know everything you're working on. You're working on a lot, right? So sometimes people ask for things without appreciating the effect it will have on your work. So when you say no, give context. Don't just say no, can't do it, right? You've got to give them some perspective. Let them see everything you're working on so they understand the consequences of you saying yes and how much it's going to take out of your busy schedule. Everyone is busy and everyone feels busy. When people can appreciate how busy you are, they're more likely to accept hearing no. So say no so you can say yes. So when you say no, that helps you to determine what you can say yes to, and it helps you to prioritize. So in work, in business, and even with your friends and your family, these are powerful reasons to say no and say it well. That's it for today. My name is Laura Armstrong. My company is Leadership with Laura. You can email me at leadershipwithlaura.com. Laura at leadershipwithlaura.com, or check out my 3-day leadership. It's absolutely free, my 3-day leadership challenge at www.leadershipwithlaura.com/3daylc. I'd love to have you take part in that, and I'd love to hear your feedback. I'll see you next week when we'll be talking about who are the upcoming leaders in your group, or what do you need to learn to be the go-to leader? So we're going to have a really good conversation around that. Everyone, have a great week. I will see you soon, and take care. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. Oh my God, it is Thursday. First of all, I was thinking it's Thursday already. These holidays, I don't know. I'm trying to keep up with the days. So I was looking the other day. I said, "Wait a minute, is it Friday or Saturday? Is it Friday or Saturday?" I said, "Oh no, it's Monday." So I had to keep up, and then I said, "Okay, we're back to Laura again. Yay, it's Thursday." So thank you, Laura, so much. I had to keep these days. I'm telling you. And then, can you believe we're in December? We're in December. It's almost 2002. Can you believe that? 2002. Wow. So, Laura, took us on that little journey this morning about, really just kind of paying attention, what you've been through, what you dealt with, and don't let that distract you from what you're trying to do in your life. I always tell people that your stories in your life are gifts. You might sit there and look at me and say, "Well, Barbara, you don't know what kind of life I had." Believe me, I had one too. We all had those down low valleys where it's like, "Oh my God, do I got to deal with another thing that came up?" But then I always say, it's the nice thing about is we switched it. We flipped it, as I said. We turned it into something that's golden to help us. First of all, gave us strength, gave us a learning skill, gave us something to take on and say, "You know what? I didn't know I was that strong." Because every time I look back at some of the things I went through in life, I always say, "Wow, I really got through that." Or I went through it, or I learned something from it, or, okay, not to do that again. Or, maybe this was something from that I went through to help other people to connect with them. And, when you look at it in that type of fashion, is golden, because you know how many people you're impacting to let them know that there is hope for what they might be going through, or something that they're dealing with that you dealt with. So that's, I take these life lessons, as you call it, and put it in the right frame of mind. If you put it in the "oh woe was me" victim mentality, then that's a whole nother story, and you go down that down, I'm gonna say, dark path road of life. And I don't know about you. And I was just talking about, I don't know what day it is, and we're almost in 2022. We don't have that type of time. We don't have that type of time. I mean, I always tell myself, every second of the day, I need to make things count. I need to give value. I need to give impact, something I need to be doing, because you never know when, you see that last day and you're transitioning, and then now it's like, okay, I wasted time thinking about, "Oh, woe was me," or, "Oh, feel sorry," that. And I'm not saying that we don't have emotions. I'm not saying that you can't let things out and cry. No, I am not stopping that at all, because that's part of life. You need to release. You need to release. But then there's a time and season to say to yourself, "Okay, I released, I've learned, I'm moving forward, and I'm going to take this as a journey of something that I need to is part of my life, but it's not my life. It's part of my life, but it's not my life." I always tell people, when I was going through the whole thing with cancer, 9 years, it's be 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I'm in remission right now. 10 years, but when I first, everybody, oh my God, I was thinking when the doctor told me, "Well, Barbara, just to let you have uterus cancer," and I was like, "What? What are you talking about? I don't want to hear that." And I went in denial. I did. I went in denial when I first heard it. I went in total denial, and I didn't go back to that doctor for. Well, I love my doctor, but I didn't go back, because I was like, I got too much to do. I don't need to hear about no cancer. I don't have time for that. You need to tell me something else. Whatever. So I went in denial. Was that right? Heck no, that wasn't right. But that was what I was dealing with. That's how I dealt with it at that time, until things got worse in my body. And then my body talked to me and said, "You need to go back. You need to take care of this." So I had to go back. Basically, I had to go through some surgery, hysterectomy, and all that stuff to make sure I was okay. But the lessons that it taught me was to help women get through certain medical things, so they know how to deal with it, and to move on, and don't let it be their life. It's not their life. Your life, just because you have a health hazard in your life, that is not you. That's something you're dealing with. That is not, my name is not Barbara Cancer Beckley. And I had to say that to myself. And I said, "Okay, Barbara, you have to be, you got to grow up." And then I had to put my big, what they call big girl panties on, and say, "Okay, let's get this taken care of." because you said you want to create an impact. You said you got a lot to do in your life. Well, you said sitting here in denial right now is not going to help it. So I had to do what I had to do. So I'm glad that Laura brought up the fact that, we have things in our lives, we have stories in our lives, things that we deal with, but it's the way how you deal with them and which direction you're going to go. You can go either left or you can go right. So thank you, Laura, for that. Now I want to move on into something that I've been really thinking about regarding the Diamond Factor. Now, as you know, the Diamond Factor is about education, motivation, and awareness. Those are like my three main things when I'm talking about the Diamond Factor. Now, we've been on for past a year, I can say now, past a year, and I've been kind of doing some thinking and revamping on some things. And the first thing is that I noticed that, I've been kind of doing a lot behind the scenes, and I've been helping everybody with their shows under the Diamond Factor, but I have not really did my own branded show on the network. And I said, wait a minute. Wait a minute here. I gotta bring some things to the network of what I do. Some people say, well, Barbara, I know you produce and I know you're a host and I know you interview people and stuff. I said, but I have my own business. I do some things too that you can learn from. And that's visibility and the social media world and understanding how to really show up, in video and interviews and social media, and the list goes on. So I said, I want to make sure I can put something out there for you to give you something. I'm always talking about educating. So starting on Thursdays, I am going to be doing a 30-minute series about showing up. So the show is going to be Showing Up with Barbara Beckley. Showing Up with Barbara Beckley. Yes, yes, yes. I titled it. And when I mean showing up, in your business, showing up in your personal life, how to show up, how to be visible so people can see who you are. So Showing Up with Barbara starts right now. I'm doing my first little series. I'm going to talk a little bit today, but every Thursday I'll be coming on and just to give you some techniques, give you some ideas, some things about, everything has to do with being present. So the first thing I want to kind of start with that is creating visibility for your brand. Now, a lot of times when I was first starting out, I didn't really understand that. When somebody told me brand, what's your brand, or they would ask what's your brand, I would always think, okay, your colors, your fonts for what you do, and kind of list goes on with that. And they're like, no, Barbara, that's just, that's the website type of thing and everything, but your brand is who you are. What is your brand? What do you stand for? What are your values? What are your goals? What are your vision? What is your mission? What are you trying to do for your brand, your business? Who are you? When people see you, what do they see? What kind of influence you are? Influence are you within the world? What kind of impact do you create? What kind of impact do you create for your business? All these questions were coming up at the time, like 3-4 years ago when I was starting the Diamond Factory, and I was like, those are some good questions. Those are some very good questions. And then the question was, okay, once you figure out all those questions about your mission, your value, what you do, what you're about, and what your product, what your service is, and the list goes on with that, then you have to ask yourself the question, how are people seeing you? How are people seeing you? How are you showing up in front of people? When they see you, what do they talk about? Do they put an expert label on you? Do they know that you're an expert in certain areas, or are you just all over the place and they don't really understand what you're doing? It's okay to be doing different things in life, in your business. It's okay. I used to be kind of nervous about that because some people used to always tell me, well, you're all over the place, Barbara. You're doing this. I see you in a book and I see you in a magazine over here. And then I see you speaking over there and speaking there. And I'm like, credibility, people, credibility. You have to gain and increase your credibility. And in your lane and what you're doing, when people see that, they're like, okay, well, I might be able to talk to her because she has credibility in this area. Or I might be able to see what she does, so maybe I can do something similar or learn from her or him. So you're building your credibility. So I just want to go over some things when you're talking about creating your visibility for your brand. How are people seeing you? Are you that light bulb that's in this picture right now I'm showing? Are you lighting up bigger than all the other ones around you? Or are you just sucked into the whole everybody else that what they're doing? And you're not becoming unique in your own business. That's something that you have to ask yourself. And I had to ask myself that question 3, 4 years ago. How's my uniqueness? How different am I compared to the next person? Not so much of saying, you know what, competition. People talking about, crush competition. Crush competition. It's not. I always compete. You know who I compete with? I compete with me. That's who I compete with. Nobody else. I compete with myself. I always say, what's the higher version of Barbara Beckley? What's the highest version? You have to ask that question. What is the highest version of you? And then everything else flows from there. And then you have to be looking, because if you're so looking at everybody else, what they're doing, and oh my God, they're doing this, and they're on this show, and they got this show going, or this person's over here interviewing with all these celebrities now and everything. How do they get there? Yeah, it's nice to ask the question. It's okay to ask the question how this person got to a certain level. But the other thing is, you can't compare yourself to them, and you can't sit there and worry day and night why they are who they are, because they're living their journey in their life of their business of what they're doing. You need to live yours. You need to live yours. So you have to understand, ask yourself the question, how am I creating my own visibility for my own brand? How am I lighting up the world? How are people seeing you? How do people know you? So I'm just going to talk just a little bit about that. First thing, just a few tips here. Join a niche community that shares your purpose, your passion, and your drive. What communities around there, what people that you can be around that have like-minded ways and how they do things that you can come in contact with to be a positive influence within what you're doing. So important, so important. Like-minded, you want to be around like-minded people that are going to help you fuel what you're trying to do to move forward into your goals or your dreams that you have. You don't need negativity. You don't need. Now, again, I always tell people we're human. I know we go through things. Sometimes things hurt. Sometimes you deal with things. That's what we were saying earlier. That's like Laura was saying earlier. Yes, you are going to deal with the low valleys of life, and you have to deal with that. But if you're around like-minded people, everybody might not be on the same page at the same time in the low valleys. So while you're in your low valley, you have some people in their high valley at the time, on their mountains, as I say, and they can come to you and say, look, it's going to be okay. I know this was devastating. I know you're going through something, but guess what? We are going to be here for you as a community and remind you of your PPD, as I call it, your purpose, passion, drive, so you can move forward in what you're trying to do. So that's why it's important to join a niche community. Now, a niche community could be, a networking group that you might be part of, or it can be 3 or 4 close friends or associates that share that same value that you have, that share the same type of ideas of how you want your business to grow and how you should show up in life. That could be a community. It does not have to be like a Facebook group or a networking group or other group. A community can be whatever it can be for you that's going to help you grow and the people around you. So you want to make sure that you are sharing, that you're within that vicinity of people. We're on this earth and we have millions, billions of people on this earth. Why do you think that we should be here alone and stand alone in what we're doing, and we have all these people around us? I always ask that question. I'm like, you were never meant to be alone. You were never meant to be alone. And there's so many people out there that wants to be a part and help. Excuse me. Be a part and help you, so you don't have to be alone in what you're doing. That's why we learn and grow from people. That's why we do come together, because we learn from. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. But if we come together, we can teach each other, we can help each other, and we could embark on things with each other, and we can learn and we can encourage each other. So that's why it's really important to have that niche community to share, your purpose, passion, and drive with each other. Then you want to go to creating an excellent bio, page, blog of you. That's how you have to show up. People need to know who you are and what you accomplished and how you took people to and from. I took this person from and to. I always get those mixed up. You took them from here to there. I took a person that was shy, didn't have confidence, didn't want to show up on the screen, didn't want to show up on Facebook. Then I took them to there, from there to very confident, don't have a problem going on Facebook doing videos, don't have a problem talking about what they do. When people hear those stories of what you've done and you have proof in it and you have testimonials from it, people see that you are showing up. You are showing up. And that's what people would like to see. When you show up and show out, if you want to put it that way, then people are like, oh, wait a minute, I need to pay attention to that person. They're doing something that's really resonating with me. And it's something that's going to create an impact here. But people need to get to know you. They need to know you need to be visible. So one of the things being visible is starting off by saying, okay, let me explain who I am. A page could be on your website or a lead magnet that you have. Or if you're doing a blog, if you're blogging, always start off by making people understand who you are. What can you do for the world? What kind of impact are you creating? What kind of impact have you created for people? So that's one thing. You want to make sure that you're doing that and putting yourself out there with your bio. Then put yourself in front of the camera. Show who you are. I always tell people, if you have an awesome passion of your purpose, of what you do, be it if you're a coach, if you're a singer, if you're a speaker, if you're a construction worker, whatever you are, if you have that, you should really, the nervousness and fear, and some people have this, of getting on camera, getting in front of a video, getting in front of a StreamYard, getting in front of a Zoom, or what have you, your purpose will overshadow that if you let it. And I mean, if you let it. Because if you don't let yourself say, my purpose is more powerful right now than me being so fearful somebody look at me on camera. And I'm saying this because of experience. I would never, just in the last 5-6 years, you would never see me doing a TV streaming show and having myself on camera. Because first of all, I felt like I wasn't that person to do that. I didn't think I was let's just say the look. You know how people say you need to have that look. And I know I didn't have a look. I just knew that. And see, that goes back from past stories that was it put in my head, put in my ears that you're ugly, you're fat. People are not going to want to know what you have to say. You don't know what you're going to say. You're not all that was seeping back in my head from my age of 8 and 9 and 10 that I was dealing with. So when people say, well, Barbara, in order so people get to know you, you might have to do some videos. You might have to get on, some interviews. You might have to do some streaming TV. You might have to do some podcasting. And I was like, I'm not doing none of that because I don't know. People are not going to want to hear or resonate with me. Plus, I don't have that look. I kept saying I had a look. But then my purpose came along and said, what is your purpose? What are you trying to do? What kind of impact are you trying to create for others? What is your business about? You're talking about you want to help, especially women in business, on how to show up, like I keep saying, how to do one-on-one interviews, how to be clear and structured in when they're talking and what to talk about and with for their business. So why are you not showing up? You have to move that fear. And I had to move that fear in me to say my purpose is bigger than this. So I started doing interviews. I said, you know what? If I'm not getting on the platform on somebody else's platform right now, let me what? Create my own platform. And that's what I did. I started doing one-on-one interviews with women, calling the PPD, the Diamond Factor Spotlight. I started with that. And then I went from there and I said, okay, if I want to increase visibility, not just for myself, but for others, because that's a part of my business, I have to step up. So then I created the Diamond Factor Experience Show with Barbara Beckley. And I bring on guests, I bring on experts, I bring myself on. So you see how that climbed from, I went from being shy, saying that I probably don't have anything to give anybody, I can't create no impact, to now I have my TV streaming show to first of all, for me to show up, and then for others to show up so people know who you are and getting that credibility. So showing up and showing your expertise is so important. And that's why I'm going right to this, flows right into there. Becoming an expert in your field, understanding what you do, you have to master. You have to. And I'm saying have to, because if you want to be that influencer in people's lives, that impact, that when they say, okay, who do I find to help me get visibility? I'm using me as an example. And right after that, I want my name to come out of their mouth. That's showing that they see that I'm an expert in the field. That's showing that they see that I know what I'm talking about. That's showing that they are trusting me to help them in their life. When a person has trust in you and is able to bring you in their life, to talk to them about their dreams and their goals of what they're trying to do, then you mastered the impact that you were trying to get. And you have to become that expert, because that's only fair to them. How are you going to give people value? How are you going to have people understand who you are for what you can do for them if you don't become that expert in your own field? You know how they said, are you an expert in your field? You hear that a lot. And that's by, a lot of people think, okay, I went to school, I got my college degree, I'm good. No, it's forever learning. I'm forever learning the field and the craft that I'm in. And I'm always, always wanting to make sure that whatever I'm learning, I'm giving value to that next person. Why should they even have me around in their orbit, in their world, if I'm not giving them something that they can use to move them forth in their life? That's a waste. Why waste their time and why waste my time? So you have to become that expert in your field. That means you're going to have to always be looking at the trends in your field. You have to always taking either workshops, webinars, one-on-one courses, hire a coach for yourself, whatever you have to do to keep yourself relevant with what's going on with what you're doing under what you're doing. I got a social media email I get every day of the different trends and the different changes of what's happening within the social media world. Because I need to be on track. I don't know if people come to me and say, well, Barbara, I'm in my business Facebook page. I don't understand why it's not moving. I don't understand why I'm not getting engagement. I need to be able to answer that question or find somewhere to get the answer. If I'm saying I'm this expert in this field of visibility and social media and helping you with that. So always think about it. With your craft, you have to understand your craft. You have to become that expert with your products in your business. If somebody asks you, what product do you sell? Or what is your what is your business? What do you do? You shouldn't be, I don't, what do I think I'm a strategist. I'm a coach. No, already you have downgraded your credibility for one, and downgraded the fact that you're that expert. If you have to think and process in your head what you do, It should come out just like you breathe. It should come out of what you do. And people should see that. That's showing up. And then interview experts in your field. Understand your field. Collaborate with others. Nothing's wrong with collaborating with people that do the same thing you do. That's how you gain more knowledge and more skills. Remember, I said earlier, you don't know everything. I don't know everything. I have no problem telling people that, but I will learn. I don't have a problem learning, getting the skills, or asking others that know what I don't know. I know one of my co-hosts on Tuesdays, the BB show, Time to Shine Happiness show, Barbara Ellis always talks about you don't know what you don't know. And then once you find out, that's another thing that you can keep under your arsenal. Is now I know this. Somebody shared the information with me. I am so happy. And be happy and excited and appreciate that. So if you have to sit back and interview 10 or 12 people that do, I'm trying to think, that do exercise coaching, then you do it, because that's building yourself up. That's building your expertise. That's building how you show up, because now you're taking the time to gain value on what you do with your craft. So, and you understand your field more through other people's eyes. So interview experts in your field is another research that you're doing to help you get to the next level so you can show up. And then promote on other stages. Invest in others to promote your brand. I never can comprehend why, when you have people within the social media world, that they open up their own stage. And what I mean by stage, they're either Facebook group or their Facebook page or what have you. And they'll say, hey, I got a sharing Saturday here. You have all day to share your business. You have all day to share your services. You have all day to share your credibility. You have all day to share your expertise with people. And people do not take advantage of it because they're so scared that there's some competition there in that little, day of people sharing their product. Remember what I said earlier. How are you shining? Where's your uniqueness? We all have it. You just have to show up and show that uniqueness in you. And don't worry about everybody else. See, when you start worrying about everybody else, that shuts you down for what you're trying to learn and gain in the value that you have in you. Every time you take that extra time to look at what somebody else is doing and you're like, well, they're doing this and I'm not doing it. That's the same type of time you're taking to say, hey, I could have took some time and learned by skill more or gain my craft or maybe interview the expert. But no, you took the time out and you had to look around and see what everybody else is doing and comparing yourself. Get on those stages, promote you, create that visibility, as I said earlier, of your brand. How are people seeing you? Are you collaborating with others? Take that experience and learn from that from others within that group that you're promoting on stage. Take advantage of that and invest in others to promote your brand. When you're investing, you're not so much, people be like, well, I'm not paid for no 900 whatever for that person. It's not you paying for them. You paying to show up for your own craft. You're investing in you. You're investing when you, anytime you do an expense to pay out somewhere you're promoting, and some of these things are free. Some of these platforms are free that you can go on and promote yourself. But people don't want to take the time to do it because they're so concerned about how others are doing, or, oh my God, I'm comparing myself with this. Stop the madness in your life with that. Stop it. You have an opportunity. Take that opportunity and show up on stage. So I just want to close by saying that creating your visibility for your brand, how people are seeing you, how people are seeing what you do, what your craft is, what your PPD is, your purpose, passion, and drive. The people even know what your passion is? Does people even know what your business is? You have to show up every single day when you have your own business. So, like I said, started today, but every Thursday I will be bringing you something to show you how to show up visibility on your to create visibility, giving you something, giving you information about that. If it's being one-on-one interviews, if it's TV streaming, if it's social media jungle, as I call it, getting through that social media jungle, whatever it is, I'm going to bring you some tips, some information, some awareness on that, because I'm creating and I'm building my expertise in that area so I can help you and give you that value. So it's called Show Up, How to Show Up with Barbara Beckley Show. Got another show under a show. Isn't that awesome? So, with that said, everybody, please enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Remember, take those extra times to really build on you so you can create an impact for others so they can understand the impact that you created, so you can build their impact in their lives and they can be an impact for the world. See how it goes? See how it goes? It all comes together. It all comes together. So with that, I will see you tomorrow, Friday. Can you believe? Oh, it's Friday, and we will have an encore show where I interview some wonderful authors that you will meet and you'll get a chance to know. And I always say, when I bring people on the show, please reach out, look at the books that they have, or the coaching, or whatever they're doing. Give them a chance. Support the people that come on this show, because they're taking the time out they're taking the time to show up. So let's show up for them and support them. And again, I will see you tomorrow. You take care and have a wonderful day. And remember that you have a diamond in you. That's the diamond factor. That is your PPD, your purpose, your passion, and drive. Not only for you to show up within yourself, as I say, but to show up in front of the world so they can understand that you have that diamond shining that can help them out and be that lighthouse for them. You take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.